Hello, I'm Dr. Eleanor. Today I want to talk to you about the July 29th, 2026 full moon. It's a very interesting time that we're living in. And when you look at the events going on cosmically, it's a time for you to be aware of your own reactions, your own needs, your own dreams. So let's get right to it. I'll share my screen. This is what I call the mandala of synthesis. I call it that because in Noble Energy Maps, we integrate the tree of life, chakras, astrology, and the hexagrams and lines of the I Ching. The synthesis is rather important because human beings are not frozen in one moment in time. We developed over a period of a year from conception until the 3 months after birth, which is when the cortex really becomes functional and the imprint of the cosmic energy over the year has been settled into our being, our knowingness. So when I read a chart, I'm looking from, if we look at the 29th of July, we're going back 3 months to when consciousness became impressionable, to 3 months after, when the manifestation process actually came to fruition. So in the chart, I'm looking at four worlds: the mental waking world, the world of our daily life, the world that we're socialized into. That links pretty closely with the physical biological world because it's only in those two worlds that we have emotional reactivity and a solar plexus. And that's important at this current transiting time. The spiritual archetypal, meaning the world of dreams and symbols, and the collective unconscious, and the emotional angelic world, so named because it brings the spiritual awareness of the other dimensions of space and time and consciousness into higher transformative consciousness of compassion and love. And we follow the tree of life. And this is a model that comes from the builders of the Aditam, a study of the tree of life with its 32 paths of intelligence, the tarot cards, and the astrological correlations. So when I look at Noble Energy Maps, I'm looking at all that information. I'm looking at the time 3 months before birth, a week before birth, 2 days before birth, and an hour and a half. And then an hour and a half after, 2 days after, a week after, and 3 months after. That time frame is the developmental sequencing time of critical periods in early development. I use the charts and read them that way as well, because what we're going to experience on the 29th of July are actually these four first page images that are synthesized within us. And what we can see is that all of them have a very open splenic center and a defined solar plexus. The solar plexus activation is active from the throat to the heart center to the solar plexus to the root to the sacral center in the mental waking world on the 29th of July. When we look a little bit deeper at the underpinnings of that day, we see that it's a day where there are connections going to be made in the consciousness that have been under the surface brewing for the time before. And it could be stressful for you. It could shift your breathing. So I think on the 29th of July, make sure that you take time that morning before you do anything, except maybe get up and brush your teeth or go to the bathroom, but then sit down and meditate and watch your breathing. Notice who you are and how you are that day, because you're going to be pushed. You're going to come in contact with people who are emotional. And you also are going to have some insights in the course of the day that may surprise you. Things you've been puzzling about, connections that maybe were not fully made that you're now making. And when something in the day doesn't feel right for you, stop, take a step back, and wait. Overall, the day is going to manifest in some strength and some caring and some intuition. But for right now, you are going to be vulnerable to the energies of the people around you. This full moon, and this is the astrology chart that most people will be interpreting. The sun is in Leo. The sun being in Leo makes it a strong sun. And it is conjunct Jupiter, and it happens to be in Mount Pleasant, where I live, at the time of the full moon. It happens to be in the 11th house. And a full moon means the sun is opposite the moon. And what that shows here is that Pluto conjunct moon, opposite sun conjunct Jupiter, could be a very creative time, especially if you are in a group talking to people. And it could be a stimulating time. The moon in Aquarius is that thinking outside the box, having a take on something, maybe a different way than you've thought it before. And it's interesting that Uranus, which rules Aquarius, and Gemini, which rules Mercury, which is not active. Mars is ruled by Aries, and there is no Aries activated in the chart. Oh, sorry, the South Node is in Aries. But the Gemini in the ninth house is telling me that communication is going to be important, especially when it comes to your values. So we have this pull between the sun and the moon. And the moon is saying, listen to me, I'm thinking a little bit differently. And the sun, Jupiter, is saying, I know the way to do this. So let's do it my way. And on a value level, you're wanting to take stock and think about it a little bit. I also did, which I like to do for the moons as a treat for all of you. I went through the patterns. Those of you who know human design think about them as profile. In the scientific research, what I found was profile is an artifact of the math. So rather than making something up about what's going on, what I like to do is use the keywords between the sun and the earth, or the moon and its opposition. And I do that in all the time frames. And then I look at what might be clean language that could deepen my consciousness for that pattern. So on the full moon, it is the foundation pattern of the alpha. So when your voice speaks for more than yourself, what kind of voice is that voice? The foundation pattern of the alpha is saying that you're going first, you're putting yourself out there. So when the desire begins something new, where does the desire come from? Is it inside of you or outside of you? And when the past has been remembered and the voice has spoken, then what happens? Take those questions in. Those are questions for the mental world. So when you're using them, apply them to your mental waking state, to your daily life. When you're speaking for more than yourself, maybe your children, maybe a spouse, maybe a spokesperson for an organization, or maybe a spokesperson for your business. What kind of voice are you speaking in? And that is something to take inside, and only you can answer. On a spiritual level, it's also the pattern of the alpha, but it's shifted a little bit. It's shifted to an internal alpha. When a dream carries a leader within it, what kind of leader is that leader? You carry a leader within you. What do you know about that leader? And that instinct that remembers what has worked before, that instinct is like what? And when a dream asks to be lived for everyone, what would that dream like to have happen? Go through these questions for yourself. Say them out loud. Look at the world. The next world, the emotional angelic world, is the foundation pattern of the unexpected. Read the questions. Take it in. It might be that this would apply to how you handle yourself when someone who's emotionally reactive comes into your space. And it's important for you to transform that emotional reactivity that you might be prone to in reaction to the other person, so that you're in charge of yourself, not in charge of something else. So take these questions and go through them. The other component of the day is that when we do the undertone of the day with Dwarfs, we see that in their natal chart, put the planets in different places. So when you look at them, consider that the Aquarian energies of the Mercury and the Mars are now in the seventh house. So there may be some impact on July 29th in your relationship, or in your profession, or in how you present yourself to the world. And those are going to have to be balanced with how you deal with groups and put yourself in front of the public. Ultimately, the day comes out as a rather strong manifesting generator day 3 months from now. So what you start now, as long as you are clear that it resonates with your soul, and that requires asking these clean questions, but take the day and take some time for yourself and think seriously about what you want to have happen for yourself in the next 3 months from July 29th, and how that resonates in terms of the people you care about, the way you want to lead those people who you are responsible to, or the animals you're responsible to. There's a channel here in this postnatal 3 months that says power, empowerment, consciousness, and the possibility of bringing compassion and love to emotional situations in a way that perhaps are innovative, are not ones you would have thought of before, but could be transformational. Take this information in. It's an important time. Use it well. See you for the August readings.